All right, good day. My contemplation this morning is on the news, a very good news, a sharing news. The Central Bank of Nigeria has approved CFA franc to be captured on export proceed. The CBN has approved CFA for repatriation of export proceed in Nigeria. CBN has approved CFA, that's the currency be spent in West Africa and Central Africa as repatriation for export proceed in Nigeria. Let me read part of the news and then make my comment. The Central Bank of Nigeria has approved the CFA franc to be captured on the Nigerian export proceed form for the repatriation of export proceed. Now, here, the executive director of NEPC, announced this to newsmen on Friday, and he said Nigerian export proceed are the money received by the Nigerian exporter, of course, when they sell their goods outside the country. And he said, I'm delighted to inform you that the CBN has magnanimously approved CFA to be captured on the NSP for the repatriation of export proceeds, she said. We'll be working with CBN and the bank to ensure full implementation, and I must say that this is a remarkable breakthrough for the council, and further reaffirm the impact of the council current flagship program. Now, a good news, I must say, there is this challenge of a lot of informal trade going on in Africa, West Africa and Central Africa, and the fact that we cannot, the trade are going on, people are sending money, they are receiving back Naira. Now there are apps that can even make this easy. I mean, I was doing a training program the other time in the French facilitator from Cote d'Ivoire, and I was able to pay him from Nigeria after I facilitated virtually. I paid from Nigeria using an app, pay Naira to Nigerian bank, and it got CFA right there in Cote d'Ivoire. So this is a very good development, but there's need for clarification. There's need for clarification. So the Nigerian Promotion Council and CBN to clarify. Number one, we have 8 West African countries using CFA. They are called the West Africa Economic Union, WAEMU. Then we have the Central African CFA by 6 countries, and this is called CIMAC. So we have the WAEMU and CIMAC. 8 countries in West Africa, 6 countries in Central Africa. Now, the first question is, does it mean that this covers the 14 countries using CFA? Which I presume it should be, but I mean, it's good for that to be clarified. And in West Africa, you have Benin Republic, you have Togo, you have Burkina Faso, you have Cote d'Ivoire, you have Guinea, and then you have Mali, you have Niger, and you have Senegal, and Togo. These 8 countries using CFA in West Africa. Then in Central Africa, you have Cameroon, you have Central African Republic, you have Chad, you have Congo, you have Equatorial Guinea, and you have Gabon. 6 countries in Central Africa, all of them using CFA. So, does it mean this covers both Central, the CIMAC people, or the WAEMU, the West African people? 14 countries. That's number one. And number 2, this means we will be able to open export DOM account in CFA, I presume. Of course, just where we have export DOM account in euro, export DOM account in pounds, export DOM account in dollar. I presume we're able to open export DOM account in CFA. That means, as an exporter, I can have my NSP for shipment to Benin Republic, and I can have, and the beauty of this is some of these countries also do not have dollar. It's a lot easier for them to pay us in CFA, to the extent that CFA is now more valuable than Naira. I mean, the other time I went to Cote d'Ivoire, I was getting 1,000 CFA for 600,000 Naira. I'll pay 700,000 Naira to get 1,000 CFA. When I went to Cote d'Ivoire, 600,000 Naira to get 1 million CFA. Now, the last time I did the program I was telling you about, that I eventually had to pay the facilitator from Cote d'Ivoire, I was paying 1 million plus, about 1.1 million, to get 400,000 CFA. So before, I was paying 400,000 Naira, sorry, 600,000 Naira to get 1 million CFA. Now I'm paying 1.1 million Naira to get 400,000 CFA. That's the level of depreciation of Naira that we have experienced. So since CFA is now more valuable than Naira, why can't we export and get in CFA? and convert from CFA to Naira to use. So for me, I think it's a very brilliant development. It's a good development because exporter now can prepare your NSP in CFA, prepare your what's the name, profile in CFA, sign your agreement with the supplier, with the buyer in CFA, then open your NXP and choose CFA as the currency of transaction, open an export DOM account in CFA, and then ship your goods, send your document through the bank or directly depending on your payment method and get paid in CFA. This means Nigerian bank will need to maintain a nostro account with banks, the central bank of the Central African CFA Monetary Union, and Central Bank of the West. I think one of Central Bank of the West Africa is in Senegal or something like that. So they have Central Bank within Central Africa and Central Bank. The beauty is that it is pegged to euro. So it's a more stable currency. A more stable currency. So this is a good development and facilitate payment from 14 countries. And this will increase export process repatriation and make export registration easy. Nigeria is ready for business. This is an indication that Nigeria is ready for business in West Africa and Central Africa. It gives access to new markets. It enhances cross-border payment services. And, you know, when I was in Diamond Bank, I remember on Diamond Bank, I was managing a product as a banker, and the product is called Easy Trade. That time, we were trying to solve that problem of payment on West Africa. That time, Diamond Bank have a branch in Benin, in Togo, in a number of West African French-speaking country only. And we had this Easy Trade. Even in Niger, we had this Easy Trade product that enable people to go with Naira and easily get CFA. And so you can go to our branches, and with Naira, you can get CFA in Cote d'Ivoire, in Benin Republic, in Niger, and be able to. And we're making a lot of money. It was a very high volume transaction before eventually it was stopped by their central bank in Senegal. So now we will be maintaining a foreign reserve, I presume. I mean, the monetary policy of Nigeria will have to be adjusted to keep some of our reserve in CFA, because now that means if I'm importing from that country, I can also pay them in CFA from Nigeria. Because if the Nigerian bank maintain a nostro account and they maintain a vostro account with us, our CBN also maintains such account. We keep some of our reserve in FX, meaning it becomes a lot easier to effect payment. So this is a good development. Both the West Africa and Central African CFA are pegged at euro. And I think the rate is about 655 to 1 euro. 655 franc to 1 euro. This peg helps to maintain the relative stability of the value of CFA against euro. This means Nigeria will maintain reserve in CFA. This means exporter will open export DOM account in CFA. This means Nigerian bank and central bank will maintain the account with this WEMO and CIMAC countries. And now, the challenge I foresee here is that CBN will need to deal with monetary policy adjustment, regulatory framework, monetary exchange rate, and risk management, and its impact on the economy. So, but the beauty of this, in my opinion, is the fact that some of those trade transactions happening within the West African economy can now be captured. A number of trade is happening within the West African economy. In fact, the last I checked, about 12% of Nigerian export goes to Africa. And a significant of that goes to West Africa and Central Africa. The only challenge is that 12% I told you is the documented. I'm aware there are billions of nairas of transactions happening daily across the border that are not documented. And the implication of this kind of agreement is that, this kind of initiative, this kind of approval, this kind of approval by CBN is that we will be able to capture this trade. And hopefully, instead of saying, if I export to Cote d'Ivoire, you have to pay me in dollars. If I export to Cameroon, you have to pay me in dollars. If I export to Benin, you have to pay me in dollars. most of the big organizations in Nigeria, that probably some of them already probably have their payment being delayed because they need to queue up to be able to get dollar from their government agency, now from their CBN rather, now for their central bank rather. Now they don't need to do that again. That is no more necessary. That is no more necessary because it's now a lot easier for them. A lot easier for them to use their own currency to pay you. Just the way you ship to the US uses local currency to pay you. They simply credit your bank, the account, the nostro account of your bank in their country. And immediately your country bank, the bank in Nigeria, sees that. A bank like EcoBank, Zenith Bank, GTB, UBA, a number of Nigerian banks already having branching in all these places. They simply credit you locally. It's going to make transactions a lot easier, a lot smoother, a lot smarter, and faster. And I think it's a plus for export. So, kudos to NEPC for this. It will be good to follow up, like said, follow up on the bank to create whatever process is involved to open this account. For them to be able to open this account so that this can be replaced, so that before the end of February, people can begin to get payment done in CFA. This is my contemplation today. A very good development initiative of Nigeria Exportation Council, working with the Central Bank of Nigeria to ensure that going forward, if I am exporting to Benin Republic, I'm exporting to Togo, I'm exporting to Senegal, I'm exporting to Cote d'Ivoire, I'm exporting to Niger, I'm exporting to Mali, I'm exporting to Burkina Faso, I'm exporting to Cameroon, I'm exporting to Gabon, I'm exporting to Central African Republic, I'm exporting to Congo, I'm exporting to all the Central and West African countries using CFA currency. I can now pay them, they can now pay me in CFA because I can now maintain an export DOM account in CFA. Thank you very much. See you in the next video and bye for now.